Jones, I looked it up.
Oh, okay. You did some pre-work.
Yeah. There's only 2 teams in the ACC, Jones, and only 12 nationally that have won at least one game in the NCAA tournament each of the last 4 years. Your 5-second challenge is to name them all. No, wait, I'll give you the answer. The most important one is North Carolina.
Of course.
And the architect of that program, Courtney Banghart, here with us in studio. Coach, thanks so much for coming by.
I'm always pumped to be on. This is fun.
Well, I hadn't seen you in a while, by the way.
Well, that's on you. No, that's on you. You're so popular now.
Yeah, we just need Courtney in here more.
See, here's the problem. You have fun people to talk to on your team. So, like, we like having, like, Laney Grant here and Aya Kelly. Yep. Like, they come in and steal your glory.
They should. We recruit really good people, and you guys are seeing that firsthand.
I know you sit over at Carmichael and like, I wish Laney Grant wouldn't steal my shine all the time over there at the pod.
I listen to it, man. I listen to it.
What's happening in women's basketball world right now is we're getting close.
We sure are. Yeah, October is the best month for college coaches because this is when you build your foundation. We are building kind of who we're going to be so that we can tweak when opponents start to show on our schedule. So it's a lot of time together. It's a lot of time on the court. There's some good days and some bad days, which is part of the journey. And so a lot of film and just build.
Do you have an early feel of what this group is going to be? Because 60% gone from your offense, but 8 players back. So some people have been there, but maybe you're asking for bigger roles from them. Kind of, what are you getting an idea yet?
We've got a lot of talented newcomers, and then we've got a lot of experienced on our roster kids that maybe haven't had as many minutes, but they've been a part of us, right? So they've been building and seeing what we're about. I would say it's a little early to know. I think we've got bright spots, and we've got areas of growth. It takes an enormous amount of toughness and relentlessness and consistency to win at the highest level. And I think when you haven't done that, it's too early to tell because you don't want the highs to cloud you and you don't want the lows to defeat you, right? So we're just continually putting days together and finding out our excellence needs to be our habit, and we're still building that.
The days when you don't need anyone new, I think, are over. When you just bring everyone back. When you're out looking for someone who you feel like is going to fit, other than the ability to put the ball in the basket, what are you looking for?
Yeah, well, they have to fit what our needs are at that time, right? And so you look at your roster and what you're built about, and then where are the holes, whether that's in the recruiting process of the young guys or whether that's in the recruiting process of the portal. It actually makes you even pickier for the younger guys because they have to be better than who you might be able to get in the portal or be able to contribute in a way that can make the portal less interesting to you. And so, you annually, it's much more of an annual experience maybe than it was in the past. But really the way I've coached my teams all along is it's pretty annual because everybody's role, to your point, Jones, everybody's role is different year to year. Their growth is different. Their process is different. And so, it's just we are looking for whatever fits the team at that time and where our holes are.
You may have just answered this question with that. Do you have a philosophy of how to best use the portal versus how to best use recruiting? Is that a year-by-year type of answer depending on what you need for your team? How have you kind of gotten your arms around all that?
It's still a work in progress. I think the rules keep changing. Yeah. Don't forget, when I took this job this is my 7th year, there was no portal, there was no NIL, there was no COVID. I mean, the job has really changed dramatically. I think I try to keep the main thing, which is anyone you bring into your program, whether that's staff or players, they have to be a home run. They have to be a home run as a talent, as someone who has great potential, as a character fit. And now that you're attaching some financial value to that, it's as important as it's ever been, right? That you are bringing in home runs. And if you do that, the details of the things we just mentioned, those become the details.
Is it, and I know probably the answer to this is it doesn't matter if it's comfortable. Is it comfortable for you? I mean, you're talking to agents now, and in addition to kids and parents and coaches and all those things. Is that comfortable for you? Have you had to get comfortable doing that? How's all that?
I mean, the circle, you've always, especially when you're recruiting young women, there's a circle of influence that they're going to have that you have to build a relationship with, because not only do you need it to understand them more to make sure they're a home run, but when they're here, ensure that it's a home run, right? And so their circle of influence has always been important. There's just now a bigger circle. And not only is that circle, just because it's bigger, does that mean it's better? Sometimes it's actually more confusing and maybe be more inconsistent. And so we try to weed that out pretty quick, and try to figure out who do we need to talk to, is in the most important bucket, and then who we have to talk to is in another bucket, and we'll hit both buckets. But the need to category is going to make sure that we hit the home run.
There's portal and there's high school recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
And here these last couple of years, there's international.
Yeah.
You've racked up some miles these last couple of years. What's that like, and why is that an element that can work?
Well, I was wishing, I wish my international recruiting was sexier, right? They don't put these tournaments in like Bora Bora. I remember when I was in somewhere in South America, I was sitting at dinner one night and I had my phone right next to me, right? And this guy came over as if he was selling socks. And I was like, no, thank you. And I watched him grab my phone and run off. And I was like, well, what? You just stole my phone. And here I am in a foreign country, right? So, and then another place I went, when I went to Irapuato, Mexico, I had to get presidential sign-off because it wasn't safe enough to attend without presidential sign-off, right? So I want to make sure everybody knows when we're out there recruiting, we're not putting our feet up and having nice meals. And
you're not at the Milan Open.
No. Maybe some sports are, not women's basketball. So anyway, it's been I always say, yeah, exactly right. There are three components. There's high school, there's international, and there's transfer. And you have to hit home runs. And it would be irresponsible for a brand as big as North Carolina to not have a presence in all three. And the international space has been really good to us. Some of our talent is right from the international space that's been really interesting to us, right? I think we brought in a couple even this year. So yeah, I think it would be irresponsible for a brand like North Carolina, honestly, not to search literally worldwide for who is the fits, who are the fits that could make this place take this program to the next step.
How'd you get your phone back?
That was my question. Did you get it back?
The problem is interesting. So I called my family and I said, hey, my phone just got stolen. And my wife says, how do you know? Are you sure you didn't lose it? I said, I know. Someone actually, so I said, that's what I said. I said, someone actually ran away with it. And she said, why didn't you chase him? I was like, what? Never occurred to me. Just never occurred to me to chase him.
Well, but she would have
chased him.
Him up against.
She would have. Yeah, that would have been a loss for him.
Yeah.
Instead, he was living his life with my phone. So I just called IT that night and said my phone's been stolen. And luckily, I have another phone that I brought with me and used that one and never got it back. So.
Man, that guy had some inches. Like, who are these 5-star recruits? Yeah. Interesting stuff. I feel like your tenure to this point, if there's one player who defined it, it was probably Alyssa Busby. That's who you thought about when you thought about Carolina women's basketball the last several years. Obviously, Alyssa, her eligibility's up, or we'd bring her back and let her keep playing. What kind of does the post-Alyssa Usby Carolina feel like to you, and who can start to fill some of those roles that she filled so well?
Did you just say, or B, just bring her back and let her keep playing? Let's go with that one. Let's go with C.
Come on back.
Why don't those rules change? I got a text from her the other day. She's in Italy, and she says, I miss playing for you, Coach. And I was like, oh, I miss you too, babe. I'll tell you that. Every team is different, and asking someone to be Alyssa Usby is unfair, right? Our team's going to be a little bit different. Our offense will be different. Our defense will be different. The relentless competitiveness, the competitive character of Alyssa Usby is the Tar Heel way, right? I mean, it just is. And that's an enormous personality, an enormous competitor, an enormous relentlessness that's off our roster, right? And so we have to. We have to find a way to that legacy to continue. And it's probably not going to be any one person. It's going to be the 5 that are in building to that.
I remember before Alyssa Usby got here, you told us you're going to love watching Alyssa Usby. Mm-hmm. So tell us who we're going to love watching this year so that we'll know ahead of time.
Oh, my gosh. So many. Gosh, it feels like I feel almost unfair because we brought so much back. Everyone's like, oh, my gosh, there's all these new faces. It's like I think we brought 10 or 9, like you said, 9 or 10 back. It's pretty rare in college athletics. But if we're talking about the newbies, we'll start with the transfers. Nyla Harris was a multiple-year, 3-year starter at Louisville at that kind of Alyssa Usby position, right? So she's about a 6'1", 6'2", rugged effort guy, runs the floor, really aggressive on defense. So actually, in some ways, is quite similar to Alyssa. Obviously, it's not a fair comparison, but one of the reasons she chose us is watching Alyssa's maturity grow as a player and her skill set, and kind of wants that opportunity in her final year. So you guys will really like watching her competitive fire. And then Elina, I'm not even going to try to say her last name, from Finland, she is special. She's has incredible floor vision, reads secondary defenders better than maybe anyone I've coached. Great passer. She played over 20 minutes a game on a Final Four team at UCLA. And so she comes with that winning pedigree. She played on a league that Steph Watts, the former Tar Heel, played on, and averaged double figures. And so she's been playing pro basketball for a long time. So you guys will really love the way she facilitates and runs offense. And then the rookies, Nyla Brooks is one of the All-Americans coming in. And she hugs me every day before practice and says, "Coach, I'm here to get better and I'm here to learn." And when you're All-American, it comes with that mentality. You're going to be all right, right? She gets better every day. She has an adversity response that's ahead of her years, and she really trusts the process. The freshman suite over here in Rams, they have a motto that's trust the process, right? And that's such a wonderful thing in this day and age. So you'll see her early and often, and I think you guys will be really excited about what she brings. And then Tisa, who came to us from Brazil, she actually came in January. So although she's new to y'all, she's been here for us for a while, because the internationals don't really believe in the whole senior prom and senior pictures. They're like, she literally called me and says, "So I want to come to Carolina and I'm ready to come right now." It's like, okay.
I'm actually in the parking lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Through a phone.
I was like, yeah, exactly. I said, well, what about your senior year? And she's like, well, I've already decided where I want to go to college. I'm just going to come, right? So, but she's that, she does a lot of things. She's kind of that utility guy. The Russian's really fascinating. I know you guys heard a little bit about that story. And so she's still getting her feet wet and understanding pace and physicality, but she brings great length and bounce, can put two hands on the rim. So she's got great upside as well. So that part's great. And then Talia Henderson, she's a better athlete pound for pound than Alyssa Usby. If you look at our sport performance data, which is remarkable. She is basically at one point she had the national record for, I think it was the 100 or something. She is remarkably athletic and feisty and a prototype-ish of an Alyssa as well, just a younger version. So her dynamicism will make a lot of oohs and ahs in Carmichael for sure.
The build of your program has been very clear. It's been easy to see it happening. And you get to 29 wins, I think, a year ago, and another trip to the second weekend of the NCAA tournament. What is that? How do you get that next step? And I know that's what you're always thinking about. How do you go from where you are, which has been very good, to where you want to be, which is one of those elite?
Yeah, you're 80 minutes from a Final Four, right? And so you can't get to the Final Four when you're still 160 minutes away. So we're 80, and we've got to find a way to make those 80 count, right? And so part of that's through the recruiting process. Part of that's through you have to have a winning tradition to then, because there's an element of luck and timing. It helps you get there when you're in that kind of top tier. And so you've got to get there enough time for the luck and timing ultimately can enter your way. But I like what we've done in the recruiting space. I like where our footprint is, kind of an all-world opportunity. But like you said, it's really hard even to host. It's hard to be in that top. You have to be squarely in that top 16. And so you've got to host again, and then you've got to have a good matchup. So there's still steps to take. There's no real equation.
I think you have done an incredible job of engaging Carolina fans and finding new people to support and to enjoy women's basketball. Mm-hmm. Is that something you enjoy? Is that something you had to do when you got here? Why is that something that you've done well, I guess is my question.
Yeah, when I first came here, the first game we played, I literally looked at my assistants and I was like, where is everybody, right? I just felt like there wasn't a fan base that made Carmichael our sixth man. We need to, it's hard enough to win at this level. We have to win the home games, right? And so there has to be an environment that is conducive to winning home games. And so I just sort of looked within and said, we have to make it worth it, right? You have to provide value in order for people to be in the seats. And then as we continued to do that, and then we worked really hard, like you said, it was almost like one at a time, just come and bring a friend. And now it's like the place to be. Literally when I saw Michael Jordan and that's a big name drop.
No big deal, guys. I was talking Michael Jordan.
No big deal when I was in the suite with Michael Jordan, but I said, hey, we've got to get you to a women's game. And he said, I hear it's a thing now. I said, oh, it's a thing. And so that kind of says it all.
What was that experience like? The reason I asked
My God.
is my wife was seeing this happen. She said, like, she saw your whole team was down there, like, cheering you on.
Guys.
When you finally saw him, they all erupted.
Guys, just whoever's listening, who is your one of one, right? Like, everyone, no one has to say it out loud in case.
Courtney Banghart.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's why we love Adam. That's why we love Adam. Whoever your one of one is, like Michael Jordan's mine, right? And so when you get a chance to not just like say hello, but to spend like 20 minutes talking to your one of one, and he has 11-year-old twins. I have 11-year-old twins. I mean, his wife is lovely. I mean, it was just, I was like, I don't even know what to do. Like, I played it totally cool. Like, it was no big deal.
Right.
And so as we're getting ready to leave, I had said, we have to get a picture. I learned after the fact, like a week later, that Michael doesn't do pictures. And I was like, I've got like 12. I kept saying, can we get another one? That one didn't look so good. So I never got that vibe. I guess I didn't give him a chance to give me that vibe. But my team then is like yelling. And so I was like, can you just say hi to my team? And he did that. And that moment was caught on. It was really remarkable. Now, and I'm not going to ask you who your one of one is, but I know you guys have one.
I don't know.
You guys.
Yeah, I mean, mine would probably be a Cub.
It's fine.
That's so boring.
I know. It really. Well,
Yeah, you see what I deal with all the time.
Right?
who would yours be?
I mean, I've met Michael Jordan. No big deal. Ceiling is the roof. That was, we were out there together.
Yeah, is that not your one-on-one? Like, how is that not
It would be
not
Michael
one?
Jordan. It would probably be Michael Jordan. Then how could it not be?
I agree. I mean, I told you about the time where I didn't get a chance to meet the president, right?
No.
So I'm coaching in the 2015. We're
Okay.
30-0 in the NCAA tournament. I mean, in the league, and or the season, and we go play in the NCAA tournament. Now I had spent 20 years, or by the end, 20 years in the Ivy League. So if you go 30-0 and you're ranked 13th in the country, you have to win in the tournament. Like, otherwise, the league just at that point you might as well retire. So I'm sitting in there, and I'm in the locker room, and I kind of put my hands over my eyes, and I said, "Listen, like, lock in. Like, I am right here. You look at me, I'm all you need, and you're all I need. We got this." So the president arrives. It's the first time a sitting president was ever at an NCAA women's event. And he walks by the opposing bench first because that's the door he entered. And so the opposing coach did what sort of any American would do and reach behind the bench and say hello, right? But the problem is he arrived like with a minute and a half to go. And that's about when my team starts running to me, right? So my team starts running to me. So after the game at this press conference, we win. We won an NCAA tournament game, and everyone's like, "What was it like to meet the president?" And I have a picture of my 5-month-old twins at the time, fist pumping him, and I said I didn't, but we won, and we were locked in, right? And so I did end up getting to therefore have a dinner with Michelle Obama, which could have been my one of one, but
Wow.
Michael Jordan was
What was that dinner like?
I mean, she's amazing. She was the one of one until Michael
You're
Jordan.
just checking off one-on-one boxes left and right.
So who's your next one? I mean, you've done these two already.
I mean, could anyone? I mean, oh God, like someone come back from the dead, or they got to be alive.
That's what I was wondering when you asked, like, do I have to pick a living person?
Well, that would be more interesting, right? It would be more interesting to spend time with a living person.
Yeah, I mean, the conversation's better for sure. When Jones did his first basketball game, it was such a big deal that Barack Obama came.
Yeah, he was there. That was the on the aircraft carrier.
Oh, is that your first game?
Yes.
Sounds like you've been doing this forever.
I know. The field.
You know how many times when you say first down, tar, I'm right with you, babe. Heels. I am right with you. I am on time. I am on point. I am on tone. I am white. You and I are communicating.
Oh, you have something.
Yeah, don't act surprised. In this environment, we hear a lot about finances.
Mm-hmm.
And we understand that some things pay for other things.
Mm-hmm.
How do you figure out when the right time to push for things is and when's the right time to not? Like, how do you get the feel of that?
I mean, you know me as well as a lot of people, guys. It's always the right time to push. It's
Always.
like poor Bubba. I think I've literally worn him out. I've worn him out to entirety. If that's what you're asking, like, I think when I got here, there wasn't a practice gym, right? And so we were sharing the gym with lots of other people. We burn the nets off of our gym, right? These are guys that like to be in the gym, work on their shot. So I kept saying, I just need basketball hoops. You can put me on the moon, but I just need basketball hoops, right? And then we needed a upgrade in a lot of different areas, offices and space. So I just have kept needing. And so I'm willing to build an army of supporters that have supported us, that I lean on them as well. But I always say, like, winning is a team sport. And so it can't all be Bubba and Carolina Athletics, can't all be donors, right? But we need a combination. If we want to win, it takes us all.
If people are listening to this and are like, well, I'd like to be in that Army, what do they do then?
Oh my gosh, what a great question. Let's go. Yeah. Well, they can do what you did and join our bench seat. So our bench seat is it's a great program, because it feels like they're kind of my bench, right? And so it's a group of supporters. There's a 5-year sort of, a 5-year promise or a pledge. And, it's not uber expensive, but it means you get access to pregame hospitality and the scouting report. And there are people that kind of they get access to our team in certain ways. And they're kind of the team behind the team that formalizes that in a way that I operate better with teams, right? And so I have my team on the court, I have my coaching staff team, I have my bench seat team. And so that's a really great way. But, I think your resources, whether that's your time, meaning you're at the game, or whether it's your finances or both, they move the needle. Because I'm telling you, we cannot ask the rest of the country, especially these big brands, to slow down. We can't ask them to care less. We can't ask them to invest less. And so, as I always say, the train is moving, right? And I want to make sure that I'm on it, right? Otherwise, it's not. I can't ask it to wait. And so the resources matter more than ever before. And I think this program is worth people's investment in time.
But they shouldn't text you because you might not even have your phone.
Yeah, may not even have it.
Well, I have 2, actually.
Yeah, that's right.
So they might not text the right one.
All right, I want to ask you about 2 individuals, then I have one final question.
Yeah.
Matt Krause, you taking care of Matt on the radio side? Is he taking care of you guys? And then Brian Chacos, how do you deal with Chacos in the front row of all
2 of the best guys I know. Okay, so first off, let's start with Matt. Obviously, you just had a baby. Yay, Matt. Hurry up and come back to us. But
yay, Matt.
Yeah, Matt. People are telling us that we should take our radio show on the road. And I say, where? Where? Like, I don't know where to take
Traveling
it.
road.
But there you go. He has got an unbelievably photographic memory for Carolina athletics and especially women's basketball. And, even when we're doing scouts, sometimes I just want some facts that I find interesting, that he might find interesting. So he's been really great. My own parents watch the game and turn off the volume and listen to Matt.
Very good.
He's really great. And then Chacos, talk about the big brother I never had. You guys should strap on all these advertisements, put them all over his. Right.
Put him on his back. You see him at every day.
And then when he stands up and does his, let's go crowd, or gives the refs his thoughts, his constructive criticism, you'd have all these ads, and that could really go right back into our program, to your question, Adam. So, you need a hype man, and he was one of the hype men that started this kind of trajectory for women's basketball, and he's brought a lot of people on board as well.
My last question. You had no ties to Carolina when you came here. Do you feel like a Tar Heel now?
Yeah, I love that question, because even to this day, when I'm around and in town, people literally stop me and say, thanks for being our coach. Like, there is a kindness and a generosity of spirit that the Carolina fans and the Carolina people have. There's not an entitlement, right, of like, well, we're Carolina. I know people think that or on the outside, but it's a place that genuinely values people and values your time and effort. And with how much time and effort this profession requires, the gratitude that I feel from others that I've chosen it and that I've given it my best, it matters. And so, interestingly, my sister is from Chapel Hill. I don't know if you guys know that.
I remember that.
Hilarious, right? Because when I had gotten the job, I didn't tell her until I got it. She had never told me how much she loved living in Chapel Hill. And I asked her that. Why didn't you tell me how much you loved living in Chapel Hill? And she said, well, who would have thought my little sister would be the basketball coach at North Carolina? I said, a lot of people thought that was possible, right? And so it's a wonderful community. And I feel like the gratitude, like I said, I think the gratitude that people appreciate their coaches and appreciate their student athletes for the effort that we're giving for the brand is felt every day. And that means a lot.